everyone, welcome to Challenge 19's S&C for runners, or strength and conditioning for runners. My name's Mel, I'm the other half of Smiling Tri Coach. Probably see quite a bit of me over the next few weeks. Okay, so we're going to do a session that is very good for runners, but that doesn't mean that if you're not a runner and you're doing the cycling challenge, you can do this strength and conditioning session as well. We're going to do quite a lot of single leg work. One of the big problems that runners tend to have is they're very prone to getting knee injuries because they don't use their glutes or their bottom muscles, and they tend to be very weak, and that causes knees to turn in like this. So a lot of the exercises we're going to do today are really going to help use those muscles in your bottom. You have a really big muscle, which is the gluteus maximus muscle. Then underneath that you've got your gluteus medius muscle, which is the muscle that generally is quite weak in runners and causes a lot of what we call runner's knee. So I'm going to do quite a lot of exercises to help strengthen those muscles. We're also going to do some core muscle exercises at the end, because it's really important that we engage our core, because it helps with our running form. So try and just do the exercises as much as you can. If you need to do less, that's absolutely fine, or you need to take more rest. You can keep replaying this or keep rewinding it if you're not quite sure how to do an exercise. So let's get started. It would be ideal if you could have just gone out and done just a little jog around the block just to warm up, but if it's a really warm day, your muscles should be fairly warm anyway. So let's get going. So we're going to start with an exercise that I call round the world, or round the clock face. So, just before we start, so the only pieces of equipment that you need, actually the only one that you really need, is a chair, okay? Or a bench or something like that, or something just to put your foot on in that position. If you've got a small band like this, then that will be useful, but again, you really don't need it. We can do all of these exercises just with body weight. And then if you wanted to make some of the exercises a little bit harder, you can use a kettlebell or a dumbbell. But again, you really don't need to have this. All the exercises can be done just with body weight. Okay, we will get started this time. So, first exercise is what I call round the world. So we're going to stand on one leg with a slight bend in that knee, and you're going to take your foot out to 12 o'clock, just tap it, then take it to 2 o'clock, tap, 3 o'clock, tap, back to 5 o'clock, tap, then tap it to 6. So you really are just tapping that foot on the floor. So you go back to 5, back to 3, back to 2, and then back to 12. Okay, and then you can swap legs. So you're going with your left leg out to 12 and tap, out to 10 o'clock and tap, out to 9 o'clock and tap, back to 7 o'clock, back to 6 o'clock. Then you go back to 6, back to 7, back to 9, back to 10, back to 12. Okay, so to make that harder, you can really try and reach out as far as you can to really bend that knee. So we're going to go round and do this 5 times on each leg. Okay, so if you need to hold on to something, that's absolutely fine. You can put a little finger on a chair. Lots of balancing on one leg. So you should really start to feel your muscles in your left bottom working. Okay, so back to 12, out to 9, back to 7, back to 6. Remember to go back to 6, back to 7, out to 9, out to 10, out to 12. I'm going to swap again. So 12, 2, 3, 5, and 6. Back to 6. So you might like to start stretching out a little bit further if you want to, or you can still keep them really shallow. Obviously, the further you stretch out, the harder it becomes. So you can really start to stretch out. Okay. stabilising muscles here, including your core. So just take it as fast or as slow as you want. Don't have to go at the same speed that I'm going, but you do need to try and do it slowly. Okay, so this is number 4, out to 3, out to 5, back to 6, 5, 3, 2, and 12, and swap again, 12, 9, 10, sorry, 9, 7, 6, up to 6, 7, 9, 10, 12. Last time on each leg. So out to 12, 2, 3. Remember, really only tapping the foot. I'm not putting it down on the floor. You've really got to use the other leg is the one that's really working, not the one that's going out and tapping. Okay, last time on your left leg. Okay, back to 6, up to 7, up to 9, 10, and 12. Okay, so that's your first exercise. So you do 5 times on each side. The next one we're going to do is a leg raise, again to really engage your gluteus medius muscle in your bottom. So if you've got a band, that's great. If you haven't, you really can do this exercise without a band. But if you've got a band, what I would suggest is that you put it over your legs and you put it just above your knees, okay? Guys, if you've got hairy legs, you might want to wear slightly longer shorts. Okay, so if you want to, again, you can hold on to something like the chair. What you need to do is try and stay really straight. Try not to lean forward. Again, this is a single leg exercise. So you're going to take your leg slightly out to the back and out to the side. So you should feel your bottom engage when you do this. So you won't get it very far, especially if you've got a band around your leg. So you're going to then take it back in and out, in and out. You can put your hand on your bottom just to see if you can feel those muscles working. So we're going to do 10 on each side. So I think that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we'll swap sides. I'll do it from behind. You can see me doing it from behind. So as I say, your legs go slightly out to the back and to the side. So, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the band just gives you a bit more resistance, but it's perfectly fine to do it without a band on. Okay, so we're going to do 2 sets of that. So that was the first set, so let's do the second set. So again, so standing nice and tall, keep right upright, and you're going to take your leg out to the side and back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if that muscle's working, you start to feel a bit of a burn. Okay, so the other leg. So you can do it without holding on to something, but it is much harder. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I'm going to take the band off now. I'm going to do something called a pistol squat. Pistol squat is a really difficult exercise, but don't worry if you can't get down very far. You just need to go down as far as you can. I really can't get down very far either. I haven't got the flexibility, but youngsters, they can get all the way down. So again, it's another single leg exercise. Please use a chair to hold on to if you want to. So what you're going to do is you're going to stand on your left leg, you're going to bend. What you're going to try and do is do a one-legged squat, taking your leg out to the front, okay? So you're pushing your bottom backwards, okay, and back up. So you might be able to get much further than me. I've got very stiff calves, so I can't get very far. So the idea is to push your bottom back, keep your chest up. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the other leg is lifted all the time. Okay, so let's do the other leg. So standing on your right leg, lift your left leg off the floor, and you're going to squat and sit back. So if you're trying to find the chair, okay, 2, 3. So you might only get to here, that's fine. But just make sure that you push your bottom back. Let me do it from the side. Yep. That's 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, well done. So the next one is called a sumo squat. So you're going to stand with your legs about just a bit further than hip width apart, and your toes are going to face outwards in that direction. And what we're going to do is do a squat, and what you need to try and do is get your knees to follow over the line of your toes. Now this is where I said you might use a kettlebell. So if you want to make this exercise a little bit harder, if you used to do strength and conditioning, then you can hold a kettlebell in front of you, or a dumbbell if you've got one. But if you're completely new to strength and conditioning, I suggest you just use body weight. So your toes are pointed outwards, your legs are slightly wider than hip distance apart, and what you're going to do is we're going to squat down. And again, you need to keep your chest up and stick your bottom back. Okay, so we're going to do 10 of these. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So nice and slowly, don't rush this. And 10. Okay, so as I said, you can do that one without any weight if you want to. So we're going to do one more set. So say toes, feet are pointed slightly outwards, legs are slightly wider than hip width apart, and you need to make sure that your knees are tracking over your toes. Okay, so they're not pointing inwards. Okay, so let's go. So nice and slowly. 1, 2. So push your bottoms back, keep your chest up. That's 3. So you could do this with the kettlebell if you want. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well done. Okay, let's move on to the next exercise. So the next exercise is just a forward lunge. So what we want to do is try and get our leg to go in a straight line, which is what we're ideally trying to do when we're running, so that it lands in front of us and not to the side. So one of the things that you could do with this is put something on the floor, like a little circle, and try that is directly in front of your leg. If you've got wooden floorboards like I have, which have got lines on, it's absolutely perfect, because you can just make sure that your leg is landing in a straight line on one of the cracks in your floorboard. Alternatively, you could lie down a tape measure on the floor, or something that's straight, just so that your leg is tracking in a straight line. It sounds really easy, but you'd be amazed how many people's legs go out to the side or go that way. So again, we're going to do this really slowly. We're going to do 10 on each leg, and we're going to just go out to a lunge position, What you want to do is try and get this nice 90-degree angle at the front and the back. What you don't want is your knee coming further over like that. So you want to get to this position, okay? And then you're going to push back up again. So we're going to do 10 on one leg and then 10 on the other. So out to the front and back. So try and get it to land with your toe pointing forward. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're not rushing these, nice and slowly. 8, 9, right, got a squeaky floorboard. 10. Okay, so we're going to do that now on the left leg. I'll do it going forwards. So again, you're trying to get your foot to land in the same point in front of you and not out to the side. So let's go. So 1, 2. So some of you may find this really difficult to balance, but because this great thing about using body weight exercises is that you are engaging your core muscles as well to help keep you nice and stable, stop you from rocking around. I think that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we're going to change that to a backward lunge with a leg raise. You can take the leg raise out if you like, if you're finding it just difficult doing the backward lunge. But if you think about running, running is lots of one-legged movements, so you're stabilising yourself on one leg before you then land on the next leg and lift the other leg up. So you need to really have these really strong stabilising muscles. So these sort of exercises are great to develop that. So let me just demonstrate. So what you're going to do is you're going to lunge backwards. Again, keep this 90-degree angle here, and then you can lift your leg, okay? Sorry, I didn't do that very well myself. Okay, let's start again. So, back, lift, hold, okay? Back, hold. So we're going to do 10 of those on each leg. As I say, if you're finding that really difficult, what you could do is just do the backward lunge, and then come back to here, okay? If you're a bit more advanced, try and do it so that you hold your leg up here. Okay, let's go. So 1, hold, and then go back. 2. Again, you could hold on to a chair with a finger if it helps. 3, 4, oops, even I'm wobbling. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, what you'll find with these exercises is that you'll have one leg that's much better at stabilising you than the other. Generally it's my right, because I'm much more, right side's much stronger than my left. But that's the great thing about doing these single leg exercises, is that it really makes us work both sides of our body rather than just relying on one side. Okay, so let's change that to the left side. Okay, so you're going to lunge back, leg come up, lunge back, leg comes up. So again, if you're finding that too hard, just come back to this position. And 4. Actually, I think that's 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, last one, 10. Well done. Okay, so next exercise we're going to do a single leg deadlift. So again, this really isolates each leg and each side of your body. You may want to use a chair. Again, if you want to use a weight, you can in one hand. So you would hold it in the hand that the leg is going back. I'm not going to use this, it's a bit heavy, but you could use a slightly smaller weight if you wanted to. So So again, if you need to hold onto a chair, that's absolutely fine. So what you need to do is you're going to have a slight bend in your left leg, and then you're going to lean forward as far as you can go and come back. So if all you can do is get to here, that's absolutely fine. If you can get all the way to the floor, that's brilliant. And if you can do it without having to hold on, put a little finger on the chair. And when I mean hold on, I don't mean holding on like this. I mean really just putting one little finger on the chair, because otherwise you're not doing the exercise properly. Okay, so let's go. So again, we're going to do 10 on each leg. You will probably wobble, some of you, unless you've got a really good strong core. Okay, so let's go. So go as far as you can. You don't have to go as far as me. So that's 1. Try not to put the leg back down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you wobble and your leg goes down, just start again, okay? Just do as many as you can. You may not be able to do this many to start with, but something to work up to. I think that's 9. Last one, 10. Okay, so again, we're going to do that on the opposite leg. So I'll do it facing forward. So this time you're standing on your right leg. There's a slight bend in the knee, and you're going to tilt forwards, touch the floor. 2, 3. So you might not be able to touch the floor. Just go as far as you can. If that's all, if you can only go a little way, the idea is to try and stabilise yourself if you can. So really don't worry if you're doing lots of wobbling around the first time you do it. As you get better at these, you will get more stable. Okay, so don't give up, please persevere. Obviously it'll make a massive difference to you as a runner if you do these strength and conditioning exercises. There's no better time at the moment than when we're in lockdown and when a lot of us are at home and we've got a little bit more time to fit these things in. So you could do this at lunchtime. Okay, so the next exercise we're going to do is a bridge. So this one we're going to do on the floor. Again, this is a really good, it's quite often given as a physio exercise for people who do have runner's knee or knee problems to again really try and engage the glutes. So you're going to lie on the floor with your knees bent, with again about hip width apart, and you're going to lie on your shoulders. And what you're going to do is you're going to push your hips up, squeeze them, and then take them back down. So we're going to do 15 of these. So that's 2, 1, we'll stop on 1, 2. So really squeeze that bottom as you come up. 4. So if you wanted to, you could also put the band across your knees here to stabilise you, to stop your knees going out to the side, to make sure that they're not moving. That's 8, 9, 10. Remember, really squeeze that bottom as it comes up. 11. Again, we're doing this nice and slowly. Try not to rush these exercises. You get much more benefit out of doing them slowly. Got 2 more to do. Really squeeze that down, and 15. If you find that really easy, one of the things you can do is make it a little bit harder yourself by doing single leg ones. So I'm just going to demonstrate, but I'm not actually going to do them today. So you bring one leg in as close to your bottom as you can, you take the other leg off the floor and you isolate one leg and push up. So you could, if you were doing this one, you could do 10 on each side instead. So you do one side, squeeze, and then you swap over and do the other. So that's the sort of next level up. And if you want, again, to make it even harder, you could hold a weight across here so you've got more resistance when you're pushing up. So this is when you're going to need a chair. So we've got 2 exercises on the chair. So one is called a Bulgarian squat. So it's a single leg squat movement. So you just need an ordinary kitchen chair, or if you've got a little bench or a little table, that works just as well. So I always think the hardest part of this exercise is actually getting your foot on the chair. So what you need to do is you put the toe of one foot onto the chair. What you'll find is that you'll need to step out to a certain distance just so that you can do a single leg squat. Okay, so that's what you're going to do, a single leg squat. So we're going to do 15 on each side. So again, make sure that the knee is tracking over the line of the foot. Again, you can make this more difficult by holding a weight, but if you're a beginner or just starting out, just do it with body weight. I think that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Again, if 10's enough for you, stop at 10. Just do as many as you can. Still need you all to be able to walk in the next few days. We've got a long way to go with this challenge. So just do what you feel comfortable with at the moment. If you do a lot of S&C already, then that's absolutely fine. You should be able to do this workout no problem. If you're new to S&D and haven't really done very much, then just, do less reps. Okay, let's go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, these exercises are isolating one leg and not using both. So it makes you more balanced. 12, 13, 14, 15. Well done. Okay, so we're going to finish off with one more on the chair, and then we're going to do some core exercises. So we've got this one and 3 core exercises to do. So again, this is quite a tough exercise because it's using one leg, and some of you will get up and down off the chair really easily, and others of you will be surprised how difficult it is. If you're really struggling, then you can give yourself a little push. So you start by sitting on the chair. Obviously, if you've got a bench or a table and it's much lower than this chair, then it will be much harder because you've got a lot further to go. So ideally a chair where your legs are sort of at 90 degrees, but don't worry about it too much. So again, we're going to isolate one leg. So let's start with the left leg. So what you're going to do is you're going to try and push yourself up from this position to standing. Okay, so I'll just demonstrate to show. So what you're going to do is push up, keeping this leg off the floor, and then come back down. Okay, so I'm not making it look very easy, but actually it's quite difficult. So if you really do need to give yourself a bit of a push, just give yourself a little bit of a push with your fingers, okay? Don't worry if you're finding this really tough. It is a tough exercise. The other thing that some of my PT clients do is they kind of like swim in order to help themselves get up a little bit. That's fine to start with if you're just practicing. So if you wanted to kind of do that to help you get up, that's fine. So let's try and do, again, we'll try and do 10 on each leg. If that's too many, don't worry, just try and do 1 or 2, okay? So as I say, just, build this up in, as you go along to your ability. So let's, again, so the right leg is off the floor, so we're going to do 10. Off we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, oops, 5, try and go down slowly as you can, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What you will find with these exercises, as I said before, one leg is always going to be stronger than the other, so you may find that doing this exercise, your right leg is much better than your left. If your back starts to hurt at any point, please stop. Okay, only push yourself as far as you can, and again, do the right number of reps for you. Okay, let's go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so your legs should have had a really good workout there. So we're going to finish off with 3 core exercises, and I haven't got my timer, but we're going to do them for approximately 30 seconds each. Okay, so I'm going to ask my daughter to put her timer on her phone so that we can do them. So please, again, if you do as much as you can, ideally if you can try and build up the length of time that you do these for. So we're starting with 30 seconds a day, but obviously as you get fitter and your core gets stronger, try and go for 1 minute, 2 minutes, whatever. It's actually quite a good challenge to do to see if you can get further. So the first one is what I would call a straightforward plank. So I'm going to show you a couple of variations. So if you do a lot of S&C, I want to show you a variation. So a plank. So you can do a plank either on your elbows or with straight arms. So if you're on your elbows, you're in this position. So the really important thing with a plank is not to stick your bottom in the air, okay? You need to try and stay in a really nice straight line. You need to be on your toes and pushing forward and just holding it there, okay? If you want to, you can do it with straight arms. And of those who want to challenge themselves, if you think about when we're running, it's a forward motion. So your core is not actually ever stable. So a really good way to challenge yourself as a runner in doing a plank is to rock backwards and forwards, because that's the sort of motion that you've got when you're running. So if you're going to rock, you can either do it with straight arms or on your elbows. You just kind of come forward and backwards, forwards and backwards. I prefer to do that one on your elbows. So you're here and you're kind of going forwards and backwards. Okay, let's get going. So we're going to do 30 seconds stay. If you want to do longer, that's absolutely fine. So I'll count my daughter in, she'll time me for me. Okay, so ready? 3, 2, 1, go. So you're rocking, either rocking backwards and forwards like me, or you're just holding it. So again, try and stay nice and long without your bottom sticking in the air. You should be up on your toes. Again, if you can't manage 30 seconds, that's absolutely fine. Just do what you can do. Okay, so that's 30 seconds. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is a side plank. So that helps with the oblique muscles down the side of your waist. I'm going to show you variations of that one as well. So you're lying on your side. You've got one leg on top of the other. You're on your elbow. So one version is to do it in that position. Okay, if you find that too hard and you can't push up, then just come onto your knees. So bend your knees and just push up on your knees. So that's the easier version. And then again, if you want to make it harder, you can come up and do it with a straight arm. And then if you want to make it even harder than that, you can do what we call thread the needle. So you go through. Okay, so those are the 4 versions that you can do. So again, we're going to try for 30 seconds. It's much harder doing a side plank than it is doing a normal plank. So if you can't do 30 seconds, again, that's absolutely fine. Just build it up. The great thing about doing it to time is that you can see how much you've improved. Okay, so I'm going to just do a straightforward, straight arm plank. So again, so put one foot on top of the other. Okay, and I'm going to count 2, 3, 2, 1, and we go. Okay, so you don't have to put your arm up like this. You can just hold it here. So you can do thread the needle, which is this one. If you're finding it too tough, then you just go down on your knees. Otherwise, push up, or you can do it on your elbow. So with your straight arm, you'll find it's quite tough on the arm as well. Okay, so that's side one. Let's turn over and do the second side. We've got 2 exercises to do, everyone. Hang in with me, you're doing really, really well. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, go. A bit more wobbly on this side. going, everyone. You push those hips up, try and stay in a straight line. Keep going. Well done, that's the buzzer. Okay, so we've got one more. So we're going to do a reverse plank. This is quite tough on the wrists, so if it is, I'll show you a variation. But this one really helps to engage the reverse core muscles as well. Rather than just doing them all in that position, we're going to do it in reverse. So this time you're on your bottom, and you'll be on your heels, with your hands behind. You can put them in whatever position you like. I tend to like them facing outwards. And then what you're going to do is you're going to push your hips up. So again, you don't want saggy bottoms. You need to really push those hips up. What I've also, it might help to put your head back, because that kind of helps to lift your hips. If you find that too hard, then the easy version is to come up into bridge, which is one of the exercises we did before, but you're just going to hold it there this time, and again, really push your hips up. So this is the last one, folks. So I'm going to get my daughter to count me in again. So you're on your heels, and 3, 2, 1, let's go. Really push those hips up, everyone. Do not want them down here, you want them right up here. Remember to breathe with all these exercises. That's it. Okay, well done, everyone. That's quite a tough workout. Hope you enjoyed it. We're just going to do some quick stretches just to stretch off those leg muscles. So again, if you want to hold on to something, please don't wobble around. It's much better to do them properly. So we're going to do the quad stretch. So you're going to take your foot and bend your knee and then bring it up behind you. You need to keep your knees together and push your hips forward. I'll just show you that from the side. So ready, off you go. Oops, so even I'm wobbling around. So please feel free to hold on to something. Don't wobble, it's much better to be able to do the exercise properly. So you can do some other stretches if you want, if you've got a little stretch routine that you like to do after your runs or after any exercise you do. Please remember you shouldn't really be stretching before a workout because your muscles are really cold. So important to stretch afterwards. Okay, so we're going to swap legs. So take your foot behind you, bring your knees together, push your hips together. So don't have your knees out here, have them right next to each other. Again, if you need to hold on to something, please do. If you did lots and lots of wobbling in this workout, it probably is that your core muscles are very weak, so you really do need to work on those. I'll tell you, if you've got good strong core, it'll make a massive difference to your running. And also cyclists as well, you spend a lot of time, especially if you're time trialling, in a bent over position, and quite often the fatigue you feel when you're cycling is because you're, not just because your legs are tired, but because your core is tired. Okay, so we're going to do a hamstring stretch. So what you need to do is you take your right leg out in front of you, so it's on its heel. Your left leg is slightly bent. I'll show you that. Left leg is slightly bent. You're going to take your hands, you put them on your left knee. Always on your left knee, not the straight leg, because you'll hurt your knee joint. So, and then you're going to lean into your right leg. To make the stretch stronger, you can take your foot off the floor. What you're trying to do is push your bottom backwards. So really push that bottom back. And you should feel a really nice stretch here at the back of your leg, or your hamstring as we call it. Okay, so again you can hold these stretches for longer than I'm doing, or you can do some yoga stretches, whatever you like to do. Just make sure you do some. Okay, we're going to swap legs. So right leg out in front, hands on the bent knee, lean into the left leg. Foot is off the floor, and you're really trying to push that bottom backwards. Okay, so so the last stretch we're going to do is a hip flexor stretch. So you're going to take a lunge back, okay, with your right leg. Then you're going to tilt your hip forward. So you can feel a stretch here. And then what I want you to do is try and get the heel of this foot onto the floor. Some of you may do it really easily, others will find it really tough. So this should really stretch your hip flexor here at the front. So if you're doing lots of sitting down at the computer, not many of us are driving at the moment, but if you are doing a lot of sitting down because of your job, then you really will get tight hip flexors. A lot of us have tight hip flexors because we're sitting all the time. Okay, so again, it's just a matter of holding that. So you've got your hip bottom tilted upwards. You'll know if you do it right because you'll feel the stretch here, unless of course you're really flexible. Okay, so last side, and then you're done. Give yourselves a big pat on the back. So take a step back with your left leg, tilt your hip forward, and then try and push that heel to the floor. You feel a really strong stretch down here at the front. Really try and push that heel down to the floor. Feel it stretching here in front of your hip. Okay, great, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that Challenge 19 strength and conditioning session for runners. I say it's not just for runners, you cyclists can do it as well. So, you know, try and incorporate some strength and conditioning into your normal workouts. It will make a massive difference to your performance and how you run. Hopefully it will stop you from getting injuries as well. So enjoy the challenge, everyone. I'll see you again soon. Bye.